A recent report shows the New England Patriots are taking calls on two players. They both happen to be on offense, so we're going to break down if I think they should trade them and what you could possibly get back for these two offensive players. But before we hop into that, I do just want to say thank you guys for tuning in to today's Patriots Today by Chat Sports, and we will be live on Sunday for Week 9. Pats won last week, albeit it was the ugliest win I had seen this entire season, but a win is a win. Now let's go on ahead and take down the Titans, who actually have a worse record, believe it or not, than the Patriots right now. So we will be live an hour before kickoff on Sunday. Come hang out with us. And if you guys are going to be joining the live show, go on ahead and spam me in the comment section down below. I've got something fun planned for Sunday, so I want to see who all is going to be there. Type in me in the chat, and let's go on ahead and get started with today's show. All right, here's the recent report from Albert Breer saying the names I've heard they've gotten calls on are actually interesting. It's KJ Osborne and it's Tyquan Thornton. And I think the reason why Thornton has some value to teams is because that sort of speed. You can't coach it, right? So every coach looks at a guy like that and says, I definitely can do something with that. Well, let's take a look here at the wide receiver depth chart as if KJ Osborne and Tyquan Thornton were to be traded away. Well, you're just kind of losing depth. As of right now, the Patriots do actually have 7 receivers. I did not include Javon Baker on here because he's been a healthy scratch for majority of this season. But Tyquan Thornton and KJ Osborne are kind of your number 4 and 5 right now when it comes to your wide receiver room. So let's start with the veteran. Why trade KJ Osborne? I personally think out of all the receivers that we have, he actually has the most to his name because of what he's done, not necessarily in New England, but what he's done for Minnesota over the last couple of years. Let me break down what's really at stake here with KJ Osborne. He's on an expiring contract, so you're going to get rid of him by the end of the year probably anyways. He's already voiced his frustrations with playing time and the lack of targets that he's gotten with Drake May, with Jacoby Brissett, and he is the 5th top target on the Patriots, so he's really not getting any action, especially since Drake May has been the quarterback. He's only had 4 targets with Drake May. And I was talking to Patrick Seaman, who's our host of Vikings Today here at Chat Sports, and he was saying, dude, KJ Osborne was elite last year. And he's not kidding. Through the first 8 games for Minnesota, he was clearly a top target for the Vikings, but he wasn't wide receiver 1. Obviously, Justin Jefferson was wide receiver 1. He was more actually wide receiver 3 with 17 receptions, 31 targets, 360 yards, and 3 tutties. Not to mention, his longest came 36 yards, so you're really not looking for a go route type of guy. But this year, 7 receptions, 17 targets, under 60 yards, 1 touchdown, which came in garbage time through 8 games. He looked like a drastically different person last year through the first 8 games of the season. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, all right, maybe it's Alex Van Pelt. Maybe he just isn't using him correctly, which could be the understanding. But it's also maybe just KJ Osborne isn't a good fit with the Patriots wide receiver room. And look, everybody knows I'm not the biggest fan of Alex Van Pelt, and I do think that he gives Jalen Polk more targets than the guy needs right now, and those targets should go to somebody like KJ Osborne, who has a proven record of catching the ball and doing something afterwards. But KJ Osborne has not found any rhythm in the wide receiver room. He just doesn't fit the team. Not to mention when he came out 2 weeks ago saying he's very frustrated with the lack of playing time that he has been getting, and then he comes out in Week 8 against the Jets and drops 2 crucial passes. It's kind of like if you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. And you also have to look, Juju Smith-Schuster didn't fit the Patriots wide receiver room either last year. Now, Kansas City and Andy Reid, they found a way for Juju to get involved, especially in the red zone. So KJ Osborne can flourish with another team. Maybe the rebuilding Patriots just isn't where he's supposed to be. But he's very aware of the trade rumors. KJ saying, a lot of people ask me questions and things like that. It hasn't been any craziness. I think it's been handled well. I thought that was pretty interesting that he said that. Right now, focus on Sunday, trying to have good practice and control what I can. Does that mean that the front office is handling it, or does that mean KJ is trying to handle it well? Overall, I think KJ needs to be in a good wide receiver room, and the Patriots don't have one. That's okay. We kind of knew that going into this year. You're rebuilding. You're figuring out who your wide receiver 1 is at this moment, and right now, it's a tight end. So I think if KJ Osborne can go back to being in a pretty good wide receiver room and an offense that really thrives at passing the ball, then he could be a good wide receiver 2 option. So the trade that I thought up here is, what team is good at throwing the ball and just lost their pass catchers? That's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hell, they lost both their pass catchers in one game. And I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are trying to be somewhat of postseason contenders, would absolutely make this trade. We're going to get a 6th-round pick for KJ Osborne. He's got a little bit to his name, so I would try to juice that out as much as I can. And in return, they get KJ Osborne. And we go back down to 6 receivers. And I think that honestly means more targets for people like Pop Douglas, people like Kayshon Boutte, people like Kendrick Bourne, and any other receivers we may see in the future. Next, I'm going to bring up why I think you should trade Tyquan Thornton. But before I hop into that, I do want to tell you guys real quick about our sponsor here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Let me tell you guys about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America, and I play it every single game day. You can actually play right now if you just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash with as little as 4 correct picks. Not to mention, Prize Picks, they have great promotions every single game day, so you can always find something that's going to fit you and what you are looking to play that day. My games and my picks for tonight's game, I am going to have Devontae Adams having more than 1 rushing or receiving touchdown, and CJ Stroud to have more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. So these are also both demons. They're a little bit harder to hit, but they do pay a lot more if they do. So if you guys want to go ahead and test out your skills, all you have to do is download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS for $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app, use promo code CLNS, and you can get $50 instantly for your first time playing your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Why should they trade Tyquan Thornton? He definitely has a lot less of name credibility when it comes to Thornton, and I do think that he has been okay as a wide receiver for the Patriots this last couple of years, but this year he has really started to go downhill. And the Pats have also already let it be known that they are open to trading away Tyquan Thornton. You really haven't utilized him at all. I believe he's played like 5-6 games this season so far. But Tyquan has been with the Patriots for quite a few seasons now, and he hasn't been not productive. 39 receptions through 28 games, 76 targets. So obviously you want to see that receptions number go up a little bit with how many targets he has received over those 28 games. 385 yards, that's all right. I mean, I see receivers that have 385 yards through 7 games in one season. And then 2 touchdowns, which hasn't come since 2022. And now when you look at what he's done so far this year with the Patriots, you're 50% right now, 4 catches, 8 targets, less than 50 yards, 0 touchdowns. I mean, he's not getting the reps that he needs to be able to be a well-rounded wide receiver, but he's really not showing anything either when he does get those capabilities. So the number 2 reasons here that he can actually be a very good target on this trade market is that, number 1, he does very well creating separation from his defenders. The only problem is the Patriots don't have an offensive line to give these receivers long enough to create separation because the quarterback's already sacked. So it's not the right offense for Tyquan Thornton to be in right now. I think as you bolster your offensive line, you definitely need a wide receiver that's good at separating from defenders. But he's got 2 seconds to throw. That's not enough time for you to get away from your man. Number 2, he is top-notch speed for go routes. And I love the fact that you can now use him with Drake May, but once again, it's a full circle. We go back to 2 seconds. You put him on a team that has a strong arm like a Baker Mayfield, like a Patrick Mahomes, then that speed is really going to start to come into play. And take it back to the NFL Draft Combine. This kid ran a 4.2 40-yard dash. He's fast as hell. Have we gotten to see that speed? No, because we can't get it out past the 10-yard marker because we're getting blitzed like crazy in the backfield because our right tackle decided to take the day off. So it just doesn't serve us really any purpose. But what could is possibly using him in the trade market. And I do think that I don't see him catching May's eye. I don't see him with 7 wide receivers in your room right now. Obviously, he loves working with Pop. Obviously, he worked with Jalen Polk in the offseason. Hunter Henry's been a great target for him. I don't see him in a 21 personnel looking for Tyquan Thornton, and it's kind of been proved already. So here's a trade that I cooked up here for the Patriots to possibly make with Carolina. I don't know if this works out. It really does depend on Adam Thielen, who's also out right now with an injury, but the Patriots would receive pretty old Adam Thielen, but still very good in the wide receiver room in Carolina. I mean, hell, besides Deontay Johnson, he was still their top target and top receiver, especially under Andy Dalton, who's a much better quarterback than Bryce Young. And we would give up Tyquan Thornton, and you would give up one of those 2026 sixth-round draft picks. So you're still getting somebody back. Adam Thielen is a veteran, which you do kind of need in this wide receiver room if you're still trying to win some games here today. And I will make a video later today about how the Patriots are looking for a wide receiver right now on the trade market. So why not call and just see what it would take to bring veteran Adam Thielen here? He may not want to go to a rebuilding franchise. He may want to go to a contender with the last couple of years left in the NFL, but hell, it's worth a call. I mean, we're 2-6. My question here for you guys real quick is, do you want Adam Thielen on the Patriots? I never thought of it, but if you're going to go wide receiver for wide receiver, you might as well call one that's on the worst team in the NFL. Type Y for yes, type in for no, and as always, we will be live on Sunday. Go on ahead and hang out with us by hitting that sub button.